UFC 299. It's early, but it might be the card of the year. It had a lot of hype coming in. It delivered all the way from the prelims to the main card to the main event.
That was a very good fight card. I agree with that. It could easily be. It's definitely the best card of the year so far. It had the most hype behind it. Had the best fighters going into it. It was good. I liked it.
I did too. How'd the prelims go? Let's take a look at those real quick before we get into the main card.
Yeah, absolutely. So the prelims were great. Phillips, he entered the Matrix against the young Punisher, Pedro Munhoz. They had a 3-round fight, ended with Munhoz taking the red pill. He actually unplugged and lost the fight by split unanimous decision.
I think Phillips is a legit contender now too at 135.
Yeah, I not rooted against him. I picked against him. Just in who I thought was going to win and lose. I was wrong. I guess I took the red pill there as well. Next, after that, we saw the gamer, Mateuse Gamrot, toying with RDA. And that's not Richard Dean Anderson. That's Rafael dos Anjos.
And, RDA, he's older. He didn't look that old in the fight. He just got beat.
No, and look,
he didn't lose because of his age, I don't think.
No,
Gamrot just showed up.
Absolutely. He did good. Gamrot training with Poirier seems like that's a good training partner for them. They
American top team.
Yeah, mutually beneficial. But Gamrot whipped out his controller, and he played, for his victory royale. He secured 11 out of 19 takedowns, which, paved the way for his unanimous decision win. After that, Maycee Barbe showed her future.
Living up to the hype. She's she's been talked about as a legit contender for a while.
Yeah.
Had a little rough at the beginning of her career, a couple losses in a row. Since then, I think, it's like 4 or 5 wins in a row now?
Yeah, I think 4 or 5 wins. She showed her future's bright. She took down the fighter formerly known as Kaitln Chukagian.
Yeah, that threw me off.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine on paper how, because it's hard for me to say it now, how hard it was for Anakin, Rogan and all them to say Cerminara.
Yeah, her new name.
But yeah, she took down the fighter formerly known as Kaitln Chukagian. The blonde fighter Cerminara didn't do anything to change her future, losing to Maycee Barbe also by unanimous decision. Seemingly cocky into the second round, Jailton Almeida was on record takedown pace. I think he
9 in the
9.
first round.
Yeah, it's
of a heavyweight against one of the better heavyweight wrestlers in Curtis Blaydes, too.
Right, absolutely. Very impressive, but like I said, kind of cocky going into the second round.
I mean, he was doing the same thing he's criticized for, where he just takes him down and he doesn't try to finish the fight.
Right,
and he came back to bite him.
He just held on to a single leg way too long. It paved the way for Curtis Blaydes to, use those razor blades.
Hammer fisted like a dent in his head, damn near.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I always think that Jailton Almeida going at such a light weight in the heavyweight division is an issue.
I mean, it was working for him until it was his game plan, I think.
Yeah, the game plan was definitely the big issue there.
He's got to start looking for finishes.
All right, but yeah, that pretty much wraps up the prelims.
It was a very entertaining prelims, but nothing compared to this entertaining main card. And let's jump ahead to the main event first. Sean O'Malley, I think they said it multiple times during the broadcast, maybe his most complete, dominant, beautiful performances against Vera. Didn't get the finish, but, I mean, dominated the fight on the feet.
It's crazy that he still didn't even knock Cheeto down.
Cheeto's still never been knocked down.
That's nuts.
I don't know how Cheeto, I think it was in the second round, the knee to the face, O'Malley to Cheeto.
Fractured his skull.
Damn near fractured his skull.
I mean,
I don't know how you don't get knocked out from that.
That's a near effortless belt defense, in my opinion. I mean, he won all 5 rounds.
I mean, he did what you want to do. If you have what he said is a fluke loss to Cheeto, he came out and dominated him for 5 rounds. There was a split second in the final 10 seconds where Cheeto connected on a body shot, and right after the fight, O'Malley went to the ground.
Yeah, he even said in post-fight, he said he rocked me with that body shot.
If that would have happened halfway through the 5th round, who knows what would have happened?
I mean, you could have easily seen a fight a few of the fights played out on the card.
Yeah, get dominated the whole time, and then
last 30 seconds or last 2 minutes of the fight, they lose. That's why mixed martial arts is really, really cool, in my opinion, and it's dynamic. Like we see the odds all the time.
One punch can change everything.
Right. Money line really doesn't matter because all these guys, it takes one just perfect shot to end it.
But O'Malley, besides that, that's an alternate reality we're living in. He dominated the fight, won all 5 rounds. Even the 4th round where Cheeto came out strong,
Yeah.
for about the first minute and a half. Then OMalley just took over the round again, won that one.
Very strong showing.
I think it was 50-45, 50-44, 50-44 maybe.
Yeah, or maybe 2 50-45s.
Yeah, either way, it was every round for Sean O'Malley, a shutout, as they say.
So he called out Ilia Topuria, which,
I like that fight, but I think it's a little too early to start talking about double champ for him right now. He's only defended the belt once.
I think the next fight that's happening, I think he's fighting Merab next.
It has to be Merab. Even in interviews after that, he even said,
yeah, I'll fight Merab if I have to.
Yeah. And then a dark horse, if it's not Merab and not Ilia, Corey Sandhagen. That's always out there. He's deserving of a title shot. He's a guy. That would be a very entertaining fight between them two.
I could see it.
So I think any of those three, but I think Merab is the most deserving and most likely to happen.
Right. And after that, can we just jump straight into my favorite fight of 2024, possibly?
I got the fight wrong, and I've never been more happy to get a fight wrong. Dustin Poirier knocked BSD Denis out cold with the right hook.
So this was an emotional fight to start off. We've been nervous about these two fighters, knowing that at some point they could cross paths. We did not think it was going to be this early.
This
soon. I mean, there's a reasonable argument to say that Dustin didn't ever have to take the fight.
He didn't
have anything to prove this guy. He gave him a chance.
But I like his mentality. He said, somebody gave me the shot, Eddie Alvarez back in the day. I'm going to give this young dude the shot. Can he jump into be a top contender?
Exactly. I like that.
BSD, to his credit, won the first round. I mean, he was taking Dustin down. He was holding Dustin down. He was winning the fight.
Well, let's be honest. Dustin was taking himself down a few times. Don't be silly, jump the gill. The memes are just pouring out at this point. But Dustin said you miss every guillotine you don't jump. So
and he's missed every single one he's jumped in MMA. No offense to Dustin, but he's never got to finish by guillotine.
Hey, but he said he's going to keep trying until he does. Even if it's a 1% finish rate, he will.
He said, you never know. Maybe I get Islam with it.
That would be
sick. And then he laughed.
That would be sick. But fantastic fight. It was, like we said, it was El Diamante in the end. Second round knockout.
Man, when's the last time we've seen him? He knocked Conor out with the hands.
But he didn't knock Conor out cold.
It wasn't just a one punch, you're out cold.
Right.
He knocked BSD out, then got an extra punch in on the ground.
Yeah, he did.
It was sweet. It was a comeback. The crowd liked it.
And he was the underdog, so a bunch of people made a bunch of money on it.
Underdog. He started talking to everybody after the fight outside of the cage, from Donald Trump to Dana White. He said to Steve-O he saw in the crowd he's talked to.
You know what that means, right?
What do you think that means?
Well, not the Steve-O or Trump thing. That means for our theory. The haircuts.
The haircut. He had the vintage Dustin
he pulled out the
fade.
Yeah. I mean, he hadn't had a haircut. He normally has his nice hair. He's talking about his hair, messing with his hair during the fight. He comes out, cue ball, close to it, and, puts on a great knockout performance.
He got, there was fight of the night, too. They got $50K each.
Yep.
Not even performance of the night, fight of the night.
Yeah, Dana said all the finishers got
$50K.
$50K, and then Dustin got fight of the night or performance of the night, whichever one it was. But great showing for him. Next fight, I think.
I mean, right now it's looking like it could be. He could.
I think it's
by technicality get Islam as a title fight next.
And if it's not Islam for the title, it's got to be Gaethje.
Well, I think it's either Islam, winner of Holloway Gaethje, or winner of Oliveira Sarzukian.
Right. There's only so many ways. He took his chance of losing
with the lower guy,
right.
Knocked him out cold. Okay, I'm done with that.
Right.
That's what he told Dana White after. He said, "You give me these young guys, this is what I do." He told Dana White from the cage. And
then he told Joe. He said, Joe said, "You're the man." He said, "I'm just a man, Joe." I mean, under pressure, that's cold.
That was a nice line.
That's pretty solid.
You're the man. I'm just the man.
I would like to see Gaethje again. I mean, I want to see him redeem that loss.
I mean, it's 1-1. They both knocked each other out. So
I would like to see
it makes the most sense.
It's 0-1.
Well, he's never fought Islam.
Oh no, he lost to
Khabib. Lost to Oliveira
and Khabib. I was thinking of Khabib.
Islam by extension.
That was what I was thinking of. But yeah, I would love to see any of those fights, Holloway or Sarukian as well. All of those are good options. What's next?
I saw I forgot what MMA page it was, but they had a dark horse opponent for him as Volk. Volk moving up and them fighting each other, which I would love to see that fight.
I just don't think it would. I would like to see it as a fan. I just don't think they would pull that off because
Volk versus him, title eliminated, winner gets a title shot.
I just feel like there's a title because Volk's about to fight Topuria. He's got to fight Topuria.
Is he though?
I'm sure.
We don't know.
Volk's been there for so long. They're gonna give him his respect.
We don't know.
But I'll watch anything at this point.
Let's move on to maybe one of the most. Dustin had an impressive fight, but maybe the most dominant fight of the main card.
Definitely the most technical.
Michael Venom Page making his UFC debut against Kevin Holland, and Michael Page
proved that he was the better of the two for
sure. He frustrated Kevin Holland. He showed He showed he's the better striker. I mean, he's entertaining. What a way to make your UFC debut. He's fun in the cage. He's a fun style. He's cocky. He dances around.
He said something very impressive. So it was something like Kevin Holland wanted to get in a fight. I just beat people up. You know, he stood at range the whole fight. He kept
Kevin
him at
Holland
distance.
couldn't touch him.
It was.
I don't know how many times he got Kevin Holland with that like back elbow so many times.
And look, I love Kevin Holland. I never want to see him, go down by any standpoint.
But Kevin Holland was talking a bunch of shit before this fight, saying he hasn't fought anybody. He's been in Bellator.
But he couldn't catch him,
and he could not. Michael Venom Page was way faster than Kevin Holland.
It's like,
and like you said, I'm a big fan of Kevin Holland, but Venom Page was just on a whole nother level.
Absolutely, it's definitely a fight that had Holland frustrated. But to Page's credit, he's not in there to get hit. He went in there and he delivered a spectacular performance that did its job, which leads me to my question for you. Who's next? He's not in a place to call anybody out. He's 1-0 in the UFC.
Everybody's saying if he wins a couple more fights, a huge England versus England matchup versus him versus Leon, but he's a couple wins away, big wins.
Okay.
The one I would like to see, which I think would be a great technical fight, him versus Wonderboy Thompson. So two karate guys.
They've talked about that already, and Stephen Thompson's pretty much outright said no already.
Well, Venom Page, they actually talked to him, and he said, I don't think the fight would be as exciting as people think because we're both so good at what we do. It was so technical.
Right.
That he said it's going to be a chess match where he does something, and before he does it, I do something. And,
right.
But I think it would be a entertaining fight. It would be a way to move up the rankings for him.
I got one.
Who you got?
Gilbert Burns.
Oh.
Coming off of his loss to JDM. If you look at it, I'm looking at it right now. Gilbert Burns drops to 6. And Michael Venom Page is at 13.
I think Michael Venom Page is going to want to fight quicker, though, and Gilbert Burns might have to take a few months off.
He might. But also, I mean, you never know. I thought that would be a fun option.
That would be a good option. It's a way to move up.
And Gilbert Burns did just lose. It would be a test for Burns in the way that, his wrestling is strong and his power is strong, but how do you...
Can you even get to him?
Can you get to... Yeah, it's... Because Gilbert Burns, even though he lost to Maddalena, he's proved that he's the full package.
Oh, yeah. You can't help but not like Gilbert Burns.
Right. I mean, you got Sean Brady, Ian Gary. I just don't see those fights happening with a Michael Page. That's why I kind of moved all the way up to a Gilbert Burns. It just feels right at that point.
So that's a good segue to the next fight. Gilbert Burns, Della Maddalena. Gilbert Burns winning the fight for 2.5 rounds.
And look, I was looking at the stats earlier. Outside of the takedowns, the fight was close.
It was close.
Maddalena was very active.
But it was close enough where the takedowns are...
Yeah, that matters the most.
But he gets up from that last takedown. Gilbert, kind of, if you look at it, almost... He's a vet, and I don't want to say, but it was almost like a panic, like, I'm just going to take him down real quick again. Yeah, JDM saw that coming. A perfect knee.
Oh, my gosh. Just stunned him.
Perfect knee, stunned him, got him on the ground. Few shots away. This is by far JDM after a few lackluster performances.
And, yeah, this was a big test for him. And like you're saying, after a few, I wouldn't say lackluster, but less than perfect.
Not as impressive as we saw him early on.
Right. This was a breath of fresh air. Him being able to turn it back on. I think there was like 1 minute and 15 seconds left in the fight whenever they called it. So
by far his biggest win of his career.
That's what the commentators
remains undefeated.
Always talking about whenever they're saying like you're down. You just need to throw your hand, throw everything, anything. Even if you're going to lose in the last seconds, throw anything and everything because you could win. And we saw that multiple times. Where the tides turned late in the fight where. In Sean O'Malley's case, he could have lost had that fight gone on 2 minutes longer.
Oh, yeah. So I got an interesting one for you for JDM next.
All right.
Undefeated JDM.
Now, he did have a call-out.
Undefeated Ian Machado Gary.
Okay.
That's the fight I would like to see next. I think that would be Hype Train versus Hype Train. Yeah, undefeated versus undefeated. Rising Star versus Rising Star. Aussie versus Irish. Let's make it happen.
He is now he jumped Ian Gary in the rankings. He's 5th and Ian Gary's 7th, so that's pretty close. I like it. JDM called out Shavkat Rakhmonov, and he pretty much agreed on the spot.
Shavkat did?
Yeah.
I would like to see that, but I think Shavkat, he could wait out for a title.
And
shot,
all the fans are basically like digging the grave for JDM now. They're like, I don't want this, actually.
Shavkat's one of those dudes, like, until he loses.
He's a scary dude.
Scary.
But massive respect. He gives respect to everybody, but I think that actually makes him scarier.
Yeah, I agree.
I also have a fun one for you. Bilal.
Bilal
They're
would be
always down, and they're just doing anything
but
they
Bilal
can.
is getting a title. He has to get a title.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It seems like they're doing anything they can to not give him a title shot. So if
he has to get the title shot.
he doesn't get one, give him JDM, and if he beats
Bilal's
JDM,
right up there with Merab as like you have to give him the title shot.
Especially now that Aljo's in another weight class, absolutely you have to.
Yeah.
Like there's nobody else. He's gaslighting everybody in the division beneath him. But yeah, that's a good one. Let's move on to the finale, or the beginning, but our finale of UFC 299.
Petr Yan is back.
Somewhat.
Kinda. It was a nice win for Petr Yan over Song Yadong.
Petr Yan had some mercy against Song Yadong, where against Aljo, he did not. That was the true no mercy, because he was kneeing him in the face while he was
on the ground, yeah.
This was a good fight. I liked it.
Song, yeah, he lost, but it wasn't a bad performance from Song.
Right.
I thought in the first round, at first, I was like, oh no.
I thought I was right.
Petr Yan might be done.
Right. I thought it was like, oh man, he looks kind of rough. He wasn't fighting his last fight was almost exactly a year out. With that kind of layoff, you never know what's going to happen.
It was a good response from Petr Yan, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Moves him back into the win column.
Back into the win column, and just like that, he's a win or two away from. He had a close split decision loss to OMalley. Like he's a win or two away from legitimately being like, I deserve a shot versus OMalley again.
But at this point, I think OMalley would just piece him up, honestly.
He could, but you never know. You never know what could motivate you. But yeah, OMalley is moving on. He's getting better and better.
He did that thing where the champs, just get that whatever percentage, like 30% better, whatever it is. It was good. But anyway, the Song Yadong fight, it was close, but obviously Petr Yan
I think he won the last 2 rounds, I believe. So close first round.
Who do you think is next? This one was weird because the division's got so much going on in it. I
would like to see him fight Cheeto next. Okay. I think that would be a good fight for both of them. I think Cheeto's probably going to take a while off.
Cheeto's going to take a year off. I would.
He probably needs to. I don't think Yan can afford to take those layoffs again. So I don't know if he's willing to wait for that.
So let's say
Henry Cejudo comes back, still fighting.
He is
maybe Yan versus
not
Cejudo.
Retired anymore.
Yan versus Cejudo.
That could work. What about if the crazy things happen? If OMalley fights to Poirier, make Petr Yan fight Merab.
They just fought.
I know.
And Merab beat the shit out of him.
I know. Make it happen again. just to do it.
Or
Sandhagen.
They just fought too, though.
I know. That's the only thing I got. If you're not if it's not Henry Cejudo, the top of the division.
What's the wrestler guy?
Who?
The undefeated one that Anik loves so much.
What's his name? Evloev?
Yes, Evloev.
That would be a good one. I'd see Evloev.
That would make sense.
Yeah. That's better than Sandhagen because
maybe if the winner of Garbrandt Figueiredo next month.
Yeah. Yeah, because both of them have to take time off anyway. They're always laid off for at least 3 months. And if they can't book anything, then
so there's some options for Yan. I think he's still a few wins away from being a legitimate title contender again, but he's back.
Like we said, somewhat back.